I'm Jenny Drasler. Our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting and KHQA, continue to work for you, keeping you informed on complex political issues facing our nation. And we continue our Connect to Congress initiative with Congressman Darin LaHood. He joins us via satellite in Washington, D.C. Good morning, Congressman.
Hey, great to be with you and your viewers.
You too. First, we want to start off with Hillary Clinton's recent email scandal. First, just want to ask, are you satisfied with FBI Director Comey's reasoning for ending the FBI's investigation into Clinton's private email server and his recommendation not to indict on criminal charges?
Well, I would first say I find it very troubling, the result that the FBI director reached yesterday. I spent over 10 years as a state and federal prosecutor. Understand that process, and I hate to judge a case where I'm not looking at the evidence and not reviewing the materials. However, I think Director Comey laid out a number of things yesterday that I find very, very disturbing. He clearly said that Hillary Clinton violated laws here. He used words like recklessness, carelessness, gross negligence, misleading. And so, you know, those are very, very disturbing. And what troubles me, I guess, is it appears that we have two different sets of rules that apply to people that are in the political elite and rules that apply to other individuals. And that's something that I think is very, very frustrating to me and to other people. And so, you know, we need to have hearings up here on Capitol Hill. I know Speaker Ryan has called for the director to come up to Capitol Hill to find out answers on some of these questions. Remember what occurred here. We had classified information that was on a unsecured private server at Hillary Clinton's home. If anybody else in government would have done that, if you were in the military, you'd be prosecuted. You know, I give you two examples. General Petraeus, who was the general in Afghanistan and Iraq, was convicted of a misdemeanor. Sandy Berger, National Security Advisor under President under President Clinton, was convicted of something similar to this. And so it sets a bad standard, and it makes people cynical of government when you see what occurred here, see that information, and not have a prosecution occur here. And I would also mention in Director Comey's press conference yesterday, he said that foreign entities clearly could have hacked into these emails. He couldn't sufficiently say that, couldn't rule that out, that foreign entities and hostile actions weren't taken as in regards to this classified information. So I think it sets a very bad precedent. I hope that we in Congress can have Director Comey here, get to the bottom of this and find out more details on why this didn't go forth and get some answers.
Yeah, and Congressman LaHood, it's kind of like addressing the elephant in the room. A lot of people wanting to know, even viewers asking us, does this have to do with the fact that the election is just months away?
Well, again, it gets back to what I think is a double standard, two different sets of rules that apply. And I wonder if Hillary Clinton was a Republican, would the same conclusion have been reached here? You also got to couple that with the fact it's you know, very concerning that just last week Bill Clinton was meeting with the Attorney General in a private meeting in Arizona. You know, when people hear stuff like that and then this happens yesterday, again, it's disconcerting. And in my view, I think there's a lot of double standards that are in place here. If you have the evidence and clearly rules are violated, why don't you bring it to a grand jury? Why don't you give it to the Attorney General and let them decide? That's why we have a grand jury process. I've brought lots of cases as a prosecutor to a grand jury. Some of them get indicted, others don't. Present the evidence, let the grand jury process play out and decide whether it's going to go forward. I wish that would have happened in this case.
Yeah, definitely some good points you're making there. We're going to switch gears now, though, to terrorism. As you've definitely been informed over the last couple days, ISIS has claimed responsibility for several of those attacks, Congressman, overseas in the past couple of days. Do you think that the added attacks show that ISIS contradicts the Obama administration's characterization that the group is actually on the retreat?
Well, I don't think they're in retreat. I don't think that we've seen a clear plan laid out by this administration on how we defeat ISIS. If you look at what happened in Orlando, look what happened in San Bernardino, look what happened in Istanbul, Bangladesh, you go all around the world, both here in the United States and elsewhere, clearly ISIS has an agenda. They have a program in place to try to radicalize people in the United States. And really what they're doing is perverting the Islam religion and turning that into radicalized terrorists. First of all, we need to call it what it is. It's radical terrorism. We refuse to hear those words out of President Obama or this administration. Call it what it is. It's radical terrorism. In the House, we're going to be voting on a bill this week that'll do a couple things. Create a department within the Homeland Security Department that focuses on the radicalization of domestic terrorists here, of people that get radicalized. We need to have more surveillance, more information when it comes to that. Secondly, anybody that is known as a terrorist, we should have their passports revoked. We currently don't do that. We're going to vote on that this week. Plus, with this administration, we need to have a plan on how you're going to defeat ISIS in Syria and Iraq. We got to remember, when we're talking about ISIS, there is no negotiating with them. Either they win or we win. That's the bottom line. This is an entity that wants to destroy everything in our culture, everything in Western society. They don't want women to drive. They don't want women to be educated. If you believe in Jesus Christ, you're going to be beheaded. This is an entity like no other we've ever faced. That has to be the kind of, you have to fight fire with fire. You have to fight on the same level that they are. And they've engaged, they continue to engage in despicable acts. And we have to up our military, our intelligence services, have a plan on how we're going to defeat ISIS over there. If we don't do that, they're going to continue to spread around the world. And so I look forward to being supportive of those type of measures, and I hope the administration will work with us in Congress to put together a plan to fund our intelligence services, fund our military appropriately, and put some of these other things in place to change how we're fighting the war with ISIS right now.
Well, definitely. Thanks, Congressman LaHood, for your time. We always appreciate your opinion. Got some great views on some of the biggest topics going on in the nation right now.
Thank you very much for having me.